What's up, guys? The boy, 20K13. I'm going to talk about 12-time fan wanting wrestler to drop the belt. The art of booking a championship match is to make fans want to see the title change hands so badly that they'll part with their hand-earned money to see it happen. Sometimes the babyface is the most important part of the equation. When a competitor just catches fire, his momentum becomes undeniable and fans want to share in his glory as he breaks through the final barrier to stand unopposed as champion. Other times it's a heel champion who is so hated that fans want anyone to shut him up and take away his bragging right. But this list isn't all about that. That list would be something like 12 reasonably well promoted title matches and inherently less worth your time to read. No, this list is comprised of truly unique moments in time when fans desire to see a title change transcended normal heel face dichotomy. Inside, you find title fans rejecting theoretically beloved babyfaces, hometown crowd going absolutely molten, and at least one actual no fooling riot that occurs following a title match. They say that the championship don't really mean anything, that they just prop, but it would seem that historically the fans have disagreed. Number 12, Shawn Michaels vs. Dusty Survivor Series 1996. 1996 was a roller coaster ride for the Heartbreak Kid. He ran in the new year with his second straight Royal Rumble win and enjoyed a storybook babyface push all the way to win the world title from Bret Hart at WrestleMania. He had a great defense against Diesel a month later, but would spend much of the year in Boyo in a lame soap opera angle with the British Bulldog and his wife Diana. The WWE tried to salvage the title reign momentum by giving Michael a vicious streak in matches against Mankind and Vader. But something just wasn't clicking. At, at exactly the same time that Shawn Michaels was floundering at a squeaky clean babyface, Goldust and Steve Austin was becoming huge stars, specifically because they portrayed edgier characters who appealed to older fans. Michael was a safe kind of edgy that read as insecure, a male stripper in Milver Shop being marketed to 6-year-olds. The 1996 Survivor Series was held in Madison Square Garden, but this wasn't the same garden that fawned over Sammartino, Backlund, and Hogan. This crowd was smarter and more jaded. They seen ECW, they knew what they wanted from their wrestling going forward, and it wasn't athletic pretty boy Shawn Michaels, and said they went nuts for Steed, even as he won the match by branding the much smaller champion with a video camera. If you wondering, this Mark hates Shawn Michaels thing was not long for this world, basically forgotten in the wake of DX, Montreal, and the inaugural Hell in a Cell. HBK is now pretty much universally considered one of the 2 or 3 best and most beloved wrestlers of all time, and still is a running joke. Number 11. Hollywood Hogan vs. Goldberg, Nitro, 1998. Anyone who tells you that WCW never created any star is straight up ignoring Goldberg. His legacy has been hurt by his relatively short tenure in the business, but for a time at the peak of his streak, there was nobody hotter. And he was never hotter than on the night of 6th of July 1998. On that night, Nitro was live from the Georgia Dome, the arena where Goldberg had played pro football, and he was riding the biggest wave of momentum in wrestling history against Hollywood Hogan for the WCW Championship. To say Goldberg enjoyed a hometown advantage would be a criminal understatement. Despite WCW's well-established history of neutering Hogan's challenger, Giant, Luger, even Steen, there was a feeling of inevitability in the air that night. The fans All of them knew that Goldberg's conquest of Hogan was inevitable. They basically ignored a Kurt-Hennig attempt at interference forged by a professional basketballer, and they barely booed Hogan, even as he dropped three big legs on their hero. Only when Goldberg stood up from this onslaught, basically unfazed, did they explode. And they exploded a second time when he speared Hogan, and a third when he applied the jackhammer. And after that, they pretty much stayed exploded. Number 10, David Arquette, WCW champ. All discussion about the worst wrestling champion of all time should begin with David Arquette, who won the WCW championship to promote a terrible movie no one was going to see. Possibly mostly because he was starring in it. Arquette, being a wrestling fan himself, knew that this was a truly terrible idea and tried to talk his way out of it, but was strong-armed into it. Fan reception was mixed, and that some fans wanted to cry while others were more likely to vomit with rage. Fan backlash was so strong that WCW was forced to turn Arquette heel. But even this twist did no good. WCW didn't want to boo Dave Arquette, they wanted him far away from their wrestling. This title reign flopped so hard that it often cited as one of the many reasons behind WCW President's decline and fall in 2000 and 2001. It also did the tie-in movie no favor. Ready to Rumble made back only half its budget and currently holds an nominally 22% freshness rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 9, Just Incredible kind of isn't. Unlike a lot of guys on this list, Just Incredible found the fans turning on him despite his best effort. He was a fine wrestler, undeniably fantastic alongside Lance Storm as an Impact wrestler. And he grew into He grew into a decent single competitor in the dying days of ECW. He became their world champion. Originally, he was simply to be Iron Sheik to RVD, Hulk Hogan, and RVD would finally become ECW champion and usher in a golden age of Extreme. Then Rob got hurt. Justin was forced to hold the belt long term, and the fans quickly soured. Maybe Just Incredible should never have been ECW champion, but the company was in dire straits. When the fans expressed their disappointment in Justin's reign, they were really voicing their disappointment that the promotion they loved was breathing its last. Every star the company made was poached away by WWE or WCW. But Paul Heyman knew that no major wrestling promotion would be able to turn a goofball who wrestled in jean shorts into a bankable star. Number 8, Triple H's Reign of Terror, 2002 through 2005. When Triple H returned from a particularly gruesome quad injury at the 2002 Royal Rumble, he was received as a monster babyface. He go on to dethrone and emasculate Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 18, and he became a major focus of programming despite the fans cooling on him relatively quickly. By truly astonishing coincidence, Triple H's centrality to Raw seemed to grow in direct proportion to his closeness to Stephanie McMahon. They married in 2003, the same year that Triple H defeated Booker T in a super racist WrestleMania feud, destroyed Goldberg's WWE career, and engaged in a self-consciously epic rivalry with Shawn Michaels that spanned roughly 5,000 matches. They even invented a world championship just for him and didn't make him win it, and put his face on Raw's technical difficulty screen Between 2002 and 2005, Triple H basically won everything. He lost the title a few times. Yes, but he always regained it and won the feud. During this period, working with Triple H actually hurt careers. Goldberg, Rob Van Dam, Chris Jericho, Kane, Booker T, Randy Orton all bounced down the card after encountering the game despite some of them defeating him. By the time he was defeated by Batista, fans had mostly given up on the prospect of a show not dominated by Triple H, and most gave up getting excited when he lost. They just go through the motion and hope it ended quickly. When your world champion is slick, it just lie back and think of England reacting. That is a special kind of disappointment. Number 7. Jeff Jarrett Reign of Terror. Fun Jeff Jarrett fact. There is absolutely nothing in the world that the guy wants more than to be Ric Flair. He got the flowing blonde lock, the struck, and the figure four leg lockdown. But what he never had is a large number of people thinking that he in Ric Flair's league. In WCW, they even made a storyline out of Jeff Jarrett being shoehorned into the Fourth Horseman despite literally no one liking him or wanting him around. He did get a few world title runs in WCW, but everyone and their mother had a WCW world title run in 1999. Seriously, Julie Bagwell might have been WCW champion. You don't know. Still definitely to be the long-term champion, living, breathing embodiment of a propulsion somewhere. Jeff founded TNA to be his own private fuel escape. Seriously, the first several years of TNA was basically one extended Jeff Jarrett championship reign. Unfortunately, it wasn't the 1980s, and he wasn't Ric Flair, so his seemingly immemorable reign wasn't exactly well received by the Impact Zone faithful. By the time Christian Cage finally dethroned Jarrett for good, it wasn't uncommon for fans to chant "Drop the title" as the supposed king of the mountain. Number 6. John Cena vs. Kurt Angle, Survivor Series 2005. As you may or may not recall, John Cena's first WWE Championship run tanked hard. He being a beloved babyface hero on the SmackDown mid-card, but when he switched to Raw to feud with Chris Jericho and Christian, everything fell apart. Fans were still fully stoked on the Y2J version of Chris Jericho in 2005, and Christian was arguably at the height of his power, a legitimate cult favorite primed to explode at the main event level. Both of them were also workhorses, but Cena beat them both easily. Fans sensed that the favorite they had organically developed were being set aside for a new chosen one, and one who was still pretty green. Fans began chanting "You can't wrestle" at the champ, and WWE's solution was to put Cena over their most credible technician, Kurt Angle. It wasn't a smart move. It was one thing to suggest that Cena was more skilled than Christian and Jericho. They were good, but Angle was Angle, the guy who faced Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania like 5 hours before major surgery and won an actual Olympic medal for being literally the best wrestler on earth. And he got to pretend that he can't figure out how to counter John Cena's developmental hip tosses. Kurt tried everything to cope boo from the fans. He even brought on Khosrow Davari as his manager, but even this fell flat. The fans' desire to see Angle defeat Cena would climax at New Year's Revolution 2005, when Angle, in full superhero mode, declared that he loved France, wasn't a fan of other black people, and that he wished to travel back in time to put Jesus in the ankle lock. He received raucous applause. Number 5. WrestleMania 23. Man, this list probably could have been the John Cena Memorial list of 12-time fans wanting a wrestler to drop the title. Fan visceral regarding Cena had waned in recent years, but even casual fans couldn't stomach the guy during the early days of his main event run. WWE tried to improve perception of their golden boy by putting him over their most established stars, but the same fans they were trying to win over continually chose to back these veterans. The belief was that Cena didn't deserve to defeat the incredible stars, so this strategy tended to engender resentment rather than admiration for Cena. By WrestleMania 23, Cena had already defeated the decade's most dominant champion and Triple H, a legitimate gold medalist in Kurt Angle, and the hottest heel act on earth in Edge. All with very little improvement in crowd reaction. With all of these feathers already in the souvenir cap, Cena was matched against arguably the best all-around wrestler that ever lived, Shawn Michaels. Despite doing his heelish best, and HBK heelish best is the heelish best, Michael couldn't get the WrestleMania crowd behind Cena. Number 4. John Cena vs. Triple H, WrestleMania 22. John Cena was whistling it so bad as lead babyface that fans threw their support behind Triple H, the megalomaniac who had just finished making Raw unwatchable for 4 years. Whatever else Triple H was, he was a wrestler, not a York-class joke, and he seized upon that in the week leading up to WrestleMania 22. In retrospect, Triple H did a terrible job of playing the heel. He cracked Eminem's joke and mocked Cena for pumping up his Reeboks. He only said what many fans were thinking, yes. But he also fanned the flame that resulted in fans turning hard on the main event of WrestleMania. The fans in Chicago that night were not amused by either Cena's standard antics or his attempt at the dramatic pandering by adopting an Al Capone gimmick. The smart, heavy crowd was having none of it, and they booed every move Cena made up, and including the match-ending STF that caused Triple H and a Steely Wrestler mission loss. Number 3. John Cena vs. CM Punk, 2011. Chicago has not been kind to John Cena. They didn't like him in 2006, and they were even less fond of him after 5 years of his act getting stellar. You know that he was facing CM Punk, smart hero and Chicago demigod. Unlike earlier Cena feuds, WWE didn't bother trying to pretend that their top star was not despised, instead working it into a nuisance storyline about CM Punk fighting to bring the WWE Universe the sort of visual wrestling that they really wanted. With Stave anti-spectic John Cena standing in the way, it worked marvelously. Cena wasn't interested in Punk's real propaganda vision and simply wanted to retain his championship. But Punk wasn't going to let him be disinterested. Punk delighted in chanting Cena suck along with his Chicago brethren and threw his own t-shirt into the stand when they rejected Cena. Shockingly enough, Punk wound up defeating the unstoppable final boss of American wrestling and escaped into the Chicago night with the WWE title. Number 2. John Cena vs. RVD, One Night Stand, 2006. This was the granddaddy of John Cena audience newly. A veritable army of ECW mutants crammed into the Hammerstein Ballroom to see their longtime cult hero, Rob Van Dam, challenge John Cena for the WWE Championship. But this wasn't just about titles. It was about vindication. It was about long-denied Rob Van Dam finally being given an opportunity to prove he could succeed at the highest level. It was about Paul Heyman's creative vision in doing an extra and proving every bit as brilliant as Vince McMahon. Above all else, it was confirmation that they, despite being divided by the mainstream for years as outcasts, obsessive, and ghouls, have been right to stay loyal to ECW. Cena walked to the ring quietly, the flame, his head bowed and his championship raised high. He threw his t-shirt into the audience. They threw it back multiple times. One guy even blew his nose on it. It was gross, and their message was clear. John Cena, the very embodiment of the homogenized corporate abomination that was sports entertainment, was at their mercy. John Cena, without the Vince McMahon marketing machine behind him, was going to prove once and for all that he wasn't half the performance that Rob Van Dam was. The fans booed every move Cena made and chanted every horrible thing they could think of. Ironically, Rob Van Dam picked up the win after interference from Edge, arguably the biggest heel in wrestling at the time and probably a bigger WWE stalwart than John Cena. Number 1. Ric Flair vs. Jack Veneno. At One Night Stand 2006, they said if Cena wins, we riot, but that was just Mark being entitled. In 1986, Ric Flair defended his NWA Championship against Dominican icon Jack Veneno, and the fans in Santo Domingo that night made the Mutant look like choir boys. Unbeknown to the Nature Boy, he had been cast as Ivan Drago in a Caribbean version of Rocky IV, and Veneno was being promoted as the everyman Dominican hero standing up to America imperialism. Flair was therefore not expecting the National Guard to be present. Holding back the rapid, Veneno supporter calling for the head of the Nature Boy. The plan was to execute a standard NWA dirty finish, with Flair stumbling into a sleeper hole just after the time limit expired. The bell would ring, and the fans' joy would turn to disappointment when the ring announcer explained that Flair had retained. That was the plan anyway. As soon as the bell rang, the fans rushed the ring to celebrate with their hero, and Flair knew that if the fans figured out they would tear him apart. He left the belt with Veneno and fled the building when it came time for the rematch. Flair brought back up in the form of Roddy Piper, who saw fit to come to ringside with a giant American flag, nearly getting himself shot by the National Guardman who was supposed to be preventing a riot. Flair again called an audible and let Veneno pin him before escaping the island for good. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys on the next one. Peace.